Hello, welcome to a very special romantic episode of the Popcorn King! Hello, so today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm actually going to be giving you guys at home a recommendation for a Valentine's movie. I am going to be talking about Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. So, this is a film which came out many years ago, directed by Michel Gondry, written by Charlie Kaufman and some other screenplay writers. So this is the film that stars Jim Carrey, but not doing the normal Jim Carrey sort of wacky comedy stuff, and it stars Kate Winslet. Actually, the cast in this is great. It's got Tom Wilkinson, Elijah Wood, Mark Ruffalo. It's just got an excellent cast, and I want to talk about why I would recommend this as a Valentine's movie, because I think this movie sometimes, the synopsis of it might make you think, oh, this is like a breakup movie. So let me just tell you what the synopsis is, and then let me tell you why it's why the synopsis is slightly wrong. So the synopsis is this. You've got Clementine, Kate Winslet, Joel. So they break up. So basically at the beginning of the film, they break up, and Clementine, being the spontaneous character female that she is, decides to erase Joel from her memory. And Joel finds this out, and he's like, what? You can't... How can she do this? Is this even possible? He finds out where the clinic is, and they go, yeah, it's possible. We can completely erase someone from your mind. And so Joel goes, I want it done to me. And so that night, the clinic will, give him some sleeping pills. He'll go to sleep in his own bed. The clinic will come to his house, and they'll put something on his head. And then, while he's asleep, they'll slowly erase her from his memory. And that's what the film is about. That's a synopsis of the film. It's basically, he wants to forget about Clementine. Joel wants to forget Clementine even exists. And you might think, oh, well, that's a horrible, unromantic... That's the opposite of what a good film for Valentine's Day should be. And I would agree if that's where the synopsis ends. But it's actually the opposite of that. And now let me explain. So, this film is romantic because of this. When Joel is asleep, and this is like, we're 20 minutes in, Joel's asleep, and we start being in his dreams and his memories. And Kate Winslet, Clementine, starts being erased from his memory. And very quickly, throughout this, and they work backwards through his memory. So they start at his most recent memories of Joel and Clementine, and they work backwards. But Joel very quickly, like 20 minutes in, he realizes, I don't want to forget about Clementine. I've had a long-term relationship with her. We shared a lot of love together. And yeah, there was arguments. And yeah, it was mundane and boring sometimes, but this is someone I shared my heart with, and my soul, and my everything. This is someone who saw the worst of me and the best of me. And I don't want... He realizes in his dream, I don't want her to disappear from my memory. And so actually, what the film is really about, it's not Joel trying to forget Clementine, which is where the synopsis would usually end. The synopsis should go one sentence more. It's Joel trying to do everything he can within the realm of his own mind and his dream to remember Clementine. He's trying to do everything. He's trying to hide her in places where the scientists might not be able to find her in his dreams, place her in parts of his brain that are off limits to everyone, in shame and embarrassment. And yeah, he's trying desperately to save, to cling on to this memory of Clementine. And I'll tell you why this is as romantic as a film could ever possibly be, because even though it's fantastical and it's like, oh, this is a, crazy, quirky movie with weird sort of cinematography and strange effects, practical effects, and all that stuff is amazing and incredible. When you watch it, you're like, holy shit, this really makes me feel like I'm in a dream. It's not like Inception, where everything is crystal clear. Where like dreams aren't like that. Dreams are sort of dark, and people have the wrong face a little bit, and you don't. Things are just a little bit off kilter in dreams, and you don't feel too out of place in the like. This really shows you what a dream kind of feels like in a way that no other movie does, in my opinion. But that's not the reason why this is such a good romantic film. This is a good romantic film because it's as realistic a look at a relationship as you've ever seen. Because most films stop once the characters have professed their love to each other, and then you just assume they've lived happily ever after. Most films are the build up to that moment, and that's not what happens. That's like the 1% of a relationship. A real relationship is all the stuff that comes after. It's just getting to know the bad stuff about people. It's starting to understand what it's like to become bored with someone, even. It's starting to understand what it's like to invest your life in someone whose personality will slowly change. Like, everyone's personality changes throughout the years. I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago. It's like investing your life and making a commitment to someone through thick and thin, through when it starts to get mundane and boring. And that really is shown in this movie. Like, wow, this relationship it got really dull and boring, and they were stuck in a rut for a while, and they were having the same conversations over and over again. And this is something everyone can relate to, who's had a long-term relationship. It's not all pink roses, or whatever the fucking phrase is. And that's why this film is so romantic, because Joel is trying to save those moments. He's trying to save those memories as well. Yes, it was beautiful and exciting in the first, months or the first year or so, but as with everyone, the relationship stagnates, and then it starts to take work. But he wants to take all of it and try and remember those boring moments, just the moments when they were sitting on the couch eating, or when they started tickling each other at one point. Like, these really realistic looks at a relationship within the frame of a really wacky, crazy movie. And that's what's so beautiful about this film. I've not really seen many films do that before. And it's, a fantastic performance from Jim Carrey, a fantastic performance from Kate Winslet. Now, I'm going to go to a spoiler for the end of the film, okay? So, if you don't want to hear any spoilers, if you've not seen the film, I recommend it. It's like probably my number 1 film of all time. It could be my number 2 film of all time. It's somewhere in there, but it's like, here's the ending. This is the bit that people say, well, it wasn't exactly the happiest of endings. You can't really call this a romantic Valentine's movie. I disagree, and I'm going to explain why. So, spoiler starting now. So, in the end, they have both erased each other from their memory. But they find each other again, almost by chance. And they fall in love again. And they realize that they've already had a whole relationship, and they've erased each other in the past. And they're kind of there in the flat going, well, we're just destined to find each other annoying again. We're just destined to get sick of each other and break up. And Joel goes, okay. And they kind of laugh, and you're like, okay, well, what does that ending mean? So it's ambiguous. It can mean anything. I choose to think of it this way. I'm not saying this is how it's definitively can be looked at, but I choose to look at it this way. So some people will say, wow, they're destined to sort of fall out of love and get bored with each other, and they're destined to break up again. That's a fucking shame. What a downer of a movie. I see it kind of the opposite way. I see it like, wow, no matter what happens, these two, even if they break up and erase each other from their minds, these two are destined to fall in love again. They're destined for each other. They just have to learn within themselves to not necessarily be selfish and be more empathetic. They've got to learn these things about themselves, but these two are destined to fall in love with each other over and over and over again. And so that's the reason why I think this is such a romantic film. Okay, so no more spoilers. those are the reasons I would suggest watching this on Valentine's Day. It's not your average rom-com. It looks backwards through a relationship, a really realistic relationship. To me, it's got a really hopeful, beautiful ending, and it's can make you cry, it can make you laugh, and it can just make you want to snuggle up with whoever it is you love. And I don't just mean boyfriend and girlfriend. You can snuggle up with a mate, family member, brother and sister. Just watch this film and just be like, oh wow, it's crazy that the people you love the most you can sometimes be the meanest to. And it's kind of just like, man, I really should just remember that through thick and thin, through the boring, through the bad, through the good, I fucking love this person so much. And I'm gonna stick with it. Like, we're destined to love this person, whether it be your friend, family member, or your partner. I'm destined to love this person. And that's what the film is about, in my opinion. So, happy Valentine's Day. I hope you enjoy the film. And if I could erase anything from my mind, it would be watching this film. So I could watch this film for the first time again because it's so fucking good.